to Visual Radio. It's bright and early on Saturday morning, March 19th, 2011, and it's about 11:25 a.m., and my honored guest today is Steve Cataldo of the Nervous Eaters.
Joe, thanks for having me on.
Known each other, what, 3 decades now?
Yes, quite a while.
I worked very closely with Willie Loco Alexander, as you did.
Love
You
Willie.
were in a band called the Rhythm A's with Willie?
Yeah, Willie was in there for a little while. I had some of the Fools in there, some of the Eaters.
Oh, so it wasn't just a Willie Loco band?
No, I saw Willie playing at a little club in Beverly called Sandy's. It was jazz and blues club at that time. And Sandy, not only did he collect money at the door, but he also ran the PA and everything from that little corner at the door, and he introduced the bands and everything from there and everything. He loved it. And I saw Willie performing, just Willie and his piano. He had a little rhythm, little drum machine that was part of his keyboard. And I remember Willie from The Lost. I had seen The Lost down on Cape Cod, and they just knocked me out. They were just fabulous. There was a whole generations of bands that came out at that point, like the Bold, the Ones, the Lovelace Lads. Great.
The Lovelace Lads, were they Stephen Lovelace?
That's right.
I didn't realize. So Stephen and Scott Barnwell were in the same band?
They could have been. I forget who was in it. I remember Stephen though, but the band was great.
It was a chick band, the Lovelace, right? I thought they were named after Linda Lovelace, but
And I don't know about that one.
But I think Stephen might have been involved. Oh, that's funny. The Lovelace Lads, I never knew about them.
Yeah.
Who were the
We
ones?
had a place on Cape Cod where I live called the Agogo, and that's where they brought major acts like the Animals, Sam the Sham. Sam showed up, and as kids we went and were prepared to see him with his turban and all that, but he just showed up like he was there to fix the heat.
That's funny.
Yeah, a drummer, a guitar player, and a sax. That was it.
Let's not be L7, and he was. Wooly Bully.
That's right, yeah. But he could write some great songs.
7,
Yeah.
square.
Yeah.
Let's not be so he was very square when he came in.
Yeah, he was.
Not hip.
He was. But he did a good show, did all his hits. Everybody loved it. I saw Eric Burden and the Animals there with Hilton Valentine.
Hilton from Connecticut,
and
right?
Chaz, yeah. And boy, they were great.
I would imagine. The Agogo. So where was the Agogo in Cape Cod?
In Yarmouth, right in the middle of the Cape.
Wow.
Yep.
Makes sense. So I didn't realize that you come from Cape Cod, and so does Willie.
Yeah, Willie is from Newton and Cape Cod.
His mom lived on Cape Cod for many years.
Right. Yep. And Willie still goes down there.
Old
So
Cape
anyways,
Cod.
we saw Willie playing at Sandy's, and I remember him from The Lost, and I said, geez, Willie, did you ever think of putting a band together or having a band back you up? And we talked him into doing some shows with us. So we learned his repertoire, and we cut his first single.
Massive?
Yeah, which started a whole slew of bands doing it themselves.
He is the fellow who told me where to get my records pressed. I launched my label thanks to Willie Loco. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
There were these singles in Boston. It was Willie Loco. There was a Nuclear Power record, Karen Silkwood, a tribute to Karen Silkwood at the Harvard Coop. But Willie Loco was the king. The other records were kind of like folkies and which was cool.
Yeah.
But there was Willie Loco, like the first real new wave rocker to put a record out.
Right. Yeah, it got reviewed and
75.
People did acetates and demos, but nobody really thought of putting a record up. But Willie was right on it because he had been through it, and he was ahead of everybody. And
I didn't realize it was the Rhythm A's.
yeah, so we cut that record in somebody's living room, but it came out great.
I mean, okay, you might not know this, but New Rose Records in Paris, I signed Willie in 1980, and we were with RCA Records at the time, so it was New Rose RCA, and I signed Willie, Solo Loco. And Don Rose from Eat Records wanted Willie, and we outbid him. And I love Don, But, you know, it was like, it was business, you know, and I wanted Willie on the French label.
Sure.
And in 1985, 5 years after I signed him, Patrick Mate, you must know who he is.
I'm sorry.
The New Rose Records guy.
Oh, Patrick from New Rose. Yeah, it comes back to me now.
Okay, so he said, let's put out Willie's greatest hits. Well, Stephen Lovelace, God bless him, was out of state. I think it was North Carolina. I can't find the tapes, Joe. He had them somewhere, right? So I got this. So this is good for you to know because this is your work. Karen Kane, the engineer.
Right.
I called Karen up and we went to Euphoria and Revere, and we took out the pops and cracks off the record, and we did a good job. And so Willie Loco's greatest hits.
Wow.
Which is like Genya Raven goes, how can you have a greatest hits album without having a hit? I go, Genya. She goes, I can't have a greatest hits. I can do a best of. I helped with the best of 10-wheel drive. Okay, right, Genya, but it was Willie's greatest hits. It's the underground, right? So you are on Willie's greatest hits, and now you know that how we remastered your single. We went to Euphoria, and we did a good job. Karen is great ears. And so we took your single, and we...
Cool.
And
Cool.
Willie might have the tapes now, but at the time, Stephen was in North Carolina or something. But this is nice history. You did it in a living room.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And I think it was the second take or first take, that was it.
1975, 74?
It was early. It might have been even earlier than that.
Oh, so it might have come out later than
That's
when
right,
you...
yeah. Oh, that always happened.
Oh.
Like, you know, Loretta was recorded around that time, I think a year later.
Not in the same place.
No. We did that at Northern Studios in Maynard.
Northern, where the Cars did their demos.
That's right. Yeah.
So you had these parallel things with the Cars.
Yes.
They recorded their demos in Northern. Mm-hmm. You recorded Loretta. Now, back in 1992, I produced a demo that got the deal for Harvey Warfield. We did like 90 or 100 of these interviews, and only 2 of them, Barry Tashin of the Remains and Steve Cataldo, didn't get on the tape.
Wow.
So Harvey interviewed you, and for some reason the tape didn't work. So I got all these interviews except for you, so now you're here. I was under the impression that Loretta was the demo that got the deal for the Elektra deal.
No. I mean, it may have, but I think it was the demo in its entirety. I don't think any record company sits there and listens through all the songs. They'll pop on 15 seconds, and if it doesn't have anything in that first intro, right into the garbage bin it goes. But because Rick's name was on it, Rick did it, and in association with Fred Lewis, they got us a deal at Elektra, and that's...
Rick Hart.
No, Rick Ocasek.
Oh, Rick Ocasek cut the demos?
Yes.
I thought it was Rick Hart who cut the demos.
No, it was Rick Ocasek.
So Rick Ocasek of the Cars cut your demos?
That's right.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And we should have released that as the Elektra album, but, you know, hindsight's 20/20, and oh well.
Now that, you know, Rick Ocasek's doing what, Weezer and all sorts of productions.
Yeah, so he has a studio in New York, and he's a
he
big
was-
wheel at Elektra.
Yeah, at Elektra he was A&R, like Maxine Satori was A&R at Elektra.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was actually Rick and Maxan that got us the deal. And I think Fred chimed in there someplace, but those two headlined it.
Oh, so Rick Ocasek and Maxine were the ones who were championing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
My perception, being on the outside of it, was that, Fred Lewis of the Cars wants to have another hit. So we found the Nervous Eaters. Mm. But you had Rick and Maxine working it.
Right. And Tom Moore was the engineer. He did a great job. And I think we did 13 or 14 tunes.
Whoa.
I don't know where the master tapes are now, but a lot of people have called me trying to, you know, reissue it or get their hands on it, or issue it, not reissue it, because it never saw the light of day.
But you've got a cassette of the 13.
Yeah, I do.
Have you transferred it?
No, never did.
Bake it, transfer it, get it? I mean, that might be the only remnant.
Yeah, Rick may have it, but he's moved so many times, and he has a house in New York, and so.
Have you talked to him?
Not recently. The band's been rehearsing. He's got a lot of new tunes. If it's anything like their early records, boy, it'll be sensational. And I hope the band plays out. I don't know if they will, but.
Oh, I think they will.
Hope so.
We had Greg Hawkes on the show. He was our 7th guest, and then we taped him November of 2009 down at the the Beatles convention that Charles Rosenet does. So Greg played on a Paul McCartney record. Flowers in the Dirt.
Greg's a great guy, boy.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
So we interviewed Greg again, but now he's back with Rick and David. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Ben's gone.
Yeah, that's sad. Ben is a great guy.
Ben had me videotaping his gigs. So I've got all these videotapes of Ben who are live.
Wow.
The 15,000 people at Government Center, right? So I'm like, Ben, let's do the interview. Oh, no, you're going to come up to Vermont to the house and hang out for the weekend. We'll do the interview. I never got up there, and now he's gone.
Yeah, too bad.
So I'm doing all this video work, and I can't, sit down. But, after a gig and there's 15,000 people, you kind of wiped.
Yeah.
And I understood it. But Ben was a sweetheart. And, he's another soldier that we miss.
Yes.
And, the Cars without Ben is going to be the Cars, but that dominant spirit is going to be missing.
Yeah.
For those of us who were there.
Yeah. He was half the band, I mean, all the guys are excellent. They all play their part. And they're all great. But he had a great voice, and he was originally a guitar player. He picked up the bass because somebody had to play it, so.
The Grasshoppers he was in Ohio. They had a 45 out.
Yeah. Well, he and Rick, I think, were friends, high school friends or whatever.
They had a band called Milkwood on Paramount Records.
Yep.
And then they were Captain Swing.
That's right. Yep, that changed into the Cars.
Jonathan Richmond had called them Rick and the Rabbits. Before they were Captain Swing, they were Rick and the Rabbits. We know our Cars history here. Did you play with the Cars at the Rat?
Many times. Many times. Yeah.
That must have been a great show. I mean, I'm sure I was there. But just digging up the memories, that must have been a great show because the Cars and the Nervous Eaters, and I know I was there, but...
Yeah. That's how we became friends.
The gigs.
Yeah, through the gigs, yep. And we were good friends with Elliot, and Elliot would go to lots of shows and jams with us, and like he and I went and played with Buddy Guy one night, and that was cool.
Where?
It was in Peabody at some club, and Junior... I was playing Hubert Sumlin's Rickenbacker, and the strings were about that far off the neck.
Was Hubert with them?
No. Hubert was Howlin' Wolf's guitar player, and then when Howlin' passed away, Hubert has just done solo shows all over the place, and he's fantastic. But Hubert pulls his strings into tune. He doesn't. He just kind of pulls it out of the case and just.
I can't even get my guitar in tune. He pulls his strings into tune?
He sure does.
I can't even use a tuning peg.
It was a monster guitar to play, and I would have probably played much better had I had my own guitars and used to my own action. But anyways, I started playing my leads, and Buddy looked back at me to see who was playing, and I nodded to him, and then Junior kept looking at me, and my lead offering was going pretty well, but he just wanted some more. He wanted me to reach that apex. And
Junior wanted you to.
Yeah, Junior. He's going like this. Come on, give it to me. Give it all to me, And I just couldn't get any more out of the guitar. It's a poor man who blames his tools, but it was a tough guitar. I was fighting it.
How did Hubert Sumlin's guitar get up to a Buddy Guy, Junior Wells gig?
Well, Buddy's road manager, Jose Gonzalez.
Oh, you know Jose?
He's a close friend of mine.
Yeah. Oh, tell him I said hello. I haven't talked to him in years.
We used to go to Chicago all the time, drive out. In fact, we purchased a couple of boxes of lobsters, and we were bringing them out to the Checkerboard Lounge in Chicago. And we dropped them off there, went over to Buddy's house, and then we came back, and they had the lobsters up on the bar, and they were racing them. Some of the people, I don't even know if had seen lobsters or whatever, but it was hilarious. We just died laughing.
Okay. Wow, Jose Gonzalez. We went to a Jefferson Starship gig down on... He's great, because I knew him through the whole Buddy circle.
Yeah.
And Hubert Sumlin's manager just accepted my friend request on Facebook yesterday. So it's funny you bring up his name. Tony Memory, I don't know if you know her.
I don't know. I used to pick Hubert up, take him to the airport, stuff like that.
What a great guitar player.
He is, boy. He really is. Those early Howlin' Wolf records, boy, oh boy. He just does some amazing guitar work.
He's got a record out now with Keith Richards is on a couple of tracks. Came out like 5 years ago. Richie Rosenblatt, you must know Rosie Rosenblatt. He has a blues label in Newton.
No, I'm sorry, I don't like to know him. Oh.
Yeah, Rosie's great. He knows Steve Berkowitz.
Oh, yeah?
And Steve Berkowitz ran the Cars facility. Steve must have been involved maybe during the Nervous Eaters days.
Yeah, well, he was I think, wasn't he the road manager or something, wasn't he?
He was the road manager for Willie Loco on MCA. Because we put out a bootleg. Did you know that? The Sperm Bank Babies?
No, I didn't know.
We took an ERS broadcast, and this is your story, but I got to bring this up because you know all these people. Right? We took an ERS broadcast, and Willie was just like ripping at, the MCA records, so we pressed up 500 copies of this ERS broadcast and called it the Sperm Bank Babies. So we're up in Nashua, New Hampshire with Steve Berkowitz in the room, the road manager, and they're on MCA, and we got this bootleg in the back. And we were stamping it, and Willie's autographing them and flinging them in the back of the room. But when his MCA album came out, we put a bootleg out the same week.
Oh, man.
And it sounded better than the MCA album.
Good nerve, yeah.
Isn't that excellent?
It is. It's a good story, yeah.
So Steve Berkowitz was the road manager, and then when they got their studio at Synchrosound, Steve was kind of like...
Yes, he ran that.
Yeah. And again, where did you record? At Northern Sound, you did the Rick Ocasek stuff.
Yes, we did in Maynard. And
Yeah,
we
what
did
a cool
Loretta
place.
there, and everybody recorded there at that time.
But Loretta was done there before you did the Rick Ocasek stuff.
That's right, yeah.
So when did you do Loretta?
We recorded Loretta in right after we did, I believe, right after we did Willie's Mass Ave.
Oh, wow.
So,
The great Jeff Wilkinson on drums.
yes,
Love Jeff.
God bless him.
Yep. Stanley Clark on guitar. And Rob Skeen on bass. What a great band.
Yeah, Rob lives in New Hampshire now.
So are any members of the original band with you?
No, well, yes, actually, just ahead, the other 45 there, Alan Hebditch, my...
Oh, yeah, okay, guitar.
Yeah, he's with me now, and we played all through junior high and high school. And after that, Alan's great. He has a couple of bands, his own bands, and he's
Great rock and roll look. Great photo.
Yeah.
Great rock and roll look. Oh, wow, thanks to our director. We have a real film director directing this today, Joe LaRocca.
Yeah, my brother Lou is on drums. The band that's presently playing.
Lou Cataldo, Steve Cataldo.
Right, and Drew. He likes to be called Drew on bass.
Drew what? Just Drew.
Yeah, just Drew. D-R-U. That's what he.
Sounds like a
He
university.
responds to, and then Alan Hebditch on guitar and vocals. Everybody sings, so we do a pretty good selection from the early days.
My favorite, Degenerate.
We do that.
Oh, good. I'm a degenerate, proud of it.
Yep.
Blank you.
And then we do Just Head Get Stuffed, and we do some of the stuff from the Elektra album, some of the popular stuff, and then Eat This, and so we do a good selection. The audience will like it.
Now, I have a cassette of demos, and Boy, I wonder what they were. Let me see. What's on this record? This "Rock with Me," great song. Driving to New York. You've heard these chords before. She's gonna be my baby. Good song. I forget the title of like that slow, wonderful, beautiful tune you wrote.
Last Chance.
Last Chance is my Degenerate and Last Chance, neck and neck for my favorite Eaters songs. Last Chance is gorgeous. It came out good on the Elektra record.
Yeah.
It came out good on the demos.
We had Nicky Hopkins played piano.
Oh, man.
And we were pumping him for old stories of when he played with the Who and the Stones, and he couldn't remember half the bands he had played with. He did sessions with.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think we made him nervous.
This is a wonderful booklet. Thank you so much for this.
You bet.
Pennyman Records. So how did this French guy or Spanish guy?
He's a huge, Enric is his name. He is a huge Eaters fan, and he knows Miss Lynn.
Oh,
Boston
wow.
Groupie News.
So, of course, the Groupie News gets a full,
Yes.
the Lost Tapes. Wow.
Yeah, Blowfish.
Paul Lovell was my guitar player.
He took a lot of great photos of the day. And so the connection through Lynn, he got a hold of me, we talked, and so we put them out, and they've been doing well. And he has a good friend, Javi, who has a label called No Tomorrow Records, and we did an Eaters CD called Eat This, and
Is that one of these?
Yes, it's one of those.
So I'm not delusional.
I don't have any more copies of it.
Eat this.
Believe
That's
it.
cool. I'm honored
I
to
don't
have
have
this.
one for myself, so.
I'm honored to have this stuff. Wow. Eat This, 2005. Scream, No More Idols, Today and Tomorrow. Call Kevin. Look what you've
done.
Don't You Cry, the Remains?
Nope, no,
Okay.
it's our own tune.
New Face, Po' Boy, Over My Head. So these are all your originals. Melanie.
Yes, all of them.
Steve Cataldo originals. Eat This. So
You can get it online. You can buy it online
Oh.
from Pennyman Records.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. Never mind. I didn't do it. Okay. Cut it out.
We try our hardest, people, but
Right, I forgot.
I'm just a collector. I just want to hear all the stuff about this. So
Yeah.
Pennyman put out Eaterville, and then his buddy put out Eat This.
That's right. That's how
Okay,
it
and then
went.
what's Delusional? Who's
That is an internet CD, MP3s, and it's free.
so it's a free record on the internet, so anyone can hear it for free.
You bet.
We could talk about that. Delusional is free on the internet, so put in Nervous Eaters Delusional in Google,
There you go. Or Facebook. We
and
have
you get a free
presence
album.
there. Yep.
Wow, free records here on Visual Radio, free. So just go to the internet, Delusional, Nervous Eaters, and get Charlene like before. Faye Told Sally, Vampire. Oh,
It's
wow.
a good song, Vampire.
Done. Kelly's 16, Inside Out Zulu.
Yep.
Nice. So there's lots of Nervous Eaters out there. I'm so glad you're on the show because, boy, if I wanted to see you live, is there something happening in April?
Yes, April 16th, we're at the Royale on Tremont Street. It's across from the Wang Center.
Is that the old Bradford?
That's right. That's right. They've redone it. They've done a fabulous job. It's a beautiful club.
We interviewed Three Dog Night there.
Really? At Bradford.
They played the Bradford, and it was, I saw them with T-Rex at the Garden,
Wow.
and they were flat, okay? I see them at the Bradford, and they were mind-blowing. Three Dog Night at the Bradford were mind-blowing like in the 80s. In their heyday, it was a disappointment. They were doing their hits, but it just didn't have the excitement at the Garden. At the Bradford, it was just a mind-blowing show. That was them at their best. And I followed Three Dog Night for years. Across the street is that little restaurant.
Right.
So they've made it, we were at the restaurant and Three Dog Night walked in, so we wrote them up for a gold mine story. It was great. Those were the days, you know?
Yeah, right, yeah.
But you're bringing those days back
Yeah.
because the Royale is the old Bradford. I did not know that.
We're there with the Liars and Robin Lane.
I love Robin. I mean, I like the Liars a lot too. Mono wrote one of my favorite songs, When I Get Off, which was DMZ with David Robinson of the Cars.
Yeah.
But, so, the Liars, they won't play When I Get Off. They only do Liars tunes, right? They don't go into the DMZ bag?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Tell him he has to. Rick Hart will be there. Rick Hart will be
Yeah,
there, right?
Rick will be there, yeah. Yeah.
Rick Hart is the guy who owns Ace of Hearts Records, so he has the Liars, and he works closely with Steve.
Yeah, Mission of Burma. He has lots of really good artists. He continues to produce and put out records. He's releasing Wasted Years, Volume 2, and it sounds great.
And you're on Volume 1.
Yep, we'll be on Volume 2 as
What
well.
songs are on Volume 1 of Rick Hart's Wasted Years?
The Eater songs?
Yeah.
Red on White, Have It With Your Coffee. There's an acoustic song.
And Rick produced them.
Oh yeah, he produced every,
So you've been
Song-
produced by
song.
Rick Hart and Rick Ocasek and Steve Cataldo.
yes,
And
and Harry Maslin.
and Harry Maslin. Yeah,
Yes.
Maslin. Is it Maslin or
Yeah,
Maslin?
he did the Electra.
Did he work with
album.
Bowie?
Yeah, he did, and John Lennon. And that was when we were offered that producer. We said, well, geez, he did Young Americans, and the guy should be really cool. But he, on the other side of it, he did Air Supply. Now, there's probably a lot of Air Supply fans out there, but that was a million miles away from where we.
Hey,
what
Dick
we
Wagner
were.
wrote a song with Air Supply, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Dick's a frequent guest of our show.
Really
Yeah, but. you know-
great guitar player, right?
Oh, yeah, love him.
Super duper.
Alice Cooper was on Jay Leno last night with Dweezil Zappa playing Jimi Hendrix's guitar that
Really?
Jimmy burned up at Monterey. They reconstructed it.
Oh my God!
Dweezil was amazing, but you know, Dick Wagner, Steve Hunter,
Right.
This is amazing stuff. Did you produce these records, Rock With Me?
Yes.
So Steve Cataldo produced these.
I produced the Rat records, yeah.
They have a great rock and roll sound. You did a great job.
Yeah, that's what our thing is anti-virtuosity. We're raw power. That's it.
The band is raw power.
That's it.
Nervous Eaters. Yeah. Go into the Rat, and your guitar playing was sublime. You're one of the finer rock and roll guitarists in the Boston rock and roll scene, and I've seen how many of them all. You're up there, Steve. You're amazing.
Thank you.
This man's amazing. You were offered to play on one of my favorite Lou Reed albums, Coney Island Baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the Elektra album was coming out simultaneous?
That's right, yeah. So it would have been great to have made room to do both, but it just couldn't, it just didn't come together at that time. So we were off to California. And in hindsight, we should have stayed right there in Boston, had Rick Hart produce it.
Or Rick Ocasek produce it?
Yeah, either or.
Where was the Bowie, the Lou Reed record must have been made in New York?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Where did you make your Elektra album?
We made that at Sterling Sound in Los Angeles. Harry used to do all his records there. He eventually bought the place. It's known for mastering.
Right. I was going to say, it's a mastering lab, right. Sterling Sound.
Yeah.
He had a recording studio in there?
Yeah. It was... there may be a Sterling in New York, is there?
There's a Sterling Mastering Lab in New York.
Right, okay. So this was Sterling, it might not have been Sterling Sound, it might have been Sterling something. I'm sure he's changed the name of it to something else now. But they were very busy, gold records all over the wall.
Oh, yeah.
But they were known for mastering, and they have one studio there, unless he's enlarged it since then and has an A and B. But recently, I've been in Q Division.
With Rick?
With Rick. And that's just a fabulous, fabulous
Rick
studio.
Hart. Rick
Yeah,
Hart works
Hart.
at Q Division.
Right.
Rick Ocasek has his own studio, probably.
Right, he does. Yes, in New York.
Have you been in that? Or
No,
you?
I haven't, no.
Q Division, so you like it?
Oh, yes, great. It's great. They have two rooms. It's all state-of-the-art. They started just with a tiny little room. And due to major releases, they've gotten enough money to build it up, and they've worked really hard. They have a guitar room with a fabulous line of guitars and amps. They have a B3 room with 3 Hammonds in it.
And it's digital?
Yeah, they have everything. They have a Neve board. They have a 2-inch machine, and they have Pro Tools. So they have just about any media that medium you want to go in.
That's great. That's Rick's been raving about Rick Hart, Q Division. So
yes, it's well deserved.
So this gig on the 16th is at the Royal, and it's with Robin Lane, I adore. Mm-hmm. Again, another band with a major label contract. They should have been monstrous.
Yes.
They should have been huge.
Yes.
How can you knock a sound of like an updated Bird sound with a wonderful singer who appeared on a Neil Young album? Mm.
It comes down to getting breaks. If you do a little TV or get on MTV. At that time, a lot of groups realized it. Some did not. How important it was to become as far as getting your group promoted. And it's just like if you happened to be at Woodstock, you were destined. That was the kiss of beauty, and you were golden.
If you could drop an audio and video down into the Rathskeller when you were playing there, and it got onto YouTube, I think history would have been different.
Sure. Yes.
But this is all hindsight. And there was no YouTube.
Yeah, there was just MTV starting up.
There were these things, because I'd go across the street to New England Music City, and I would see your record, and Willie's record, and all my friends' records, Fox Pass, Mark Thor.
Yep.
And there was even a little store in the Rat Barb Kitson used to run.
Yeah.
Rat record store in the Rat, the coat check room, right?
Yeah, God bless her.
You walk in, another of our fallen soldiers.
Yeah.
I worked on her last record.
Really?
It's never come out.
Really?
Blind Passion, we recorded in 1988. She'd been recording it over the years. And, it's there. I put out a couple of tracks. Willie Loco did a T-Rex tune with her, Light of Love. So Willie produced a couple of tracks with Barb.
Cool.
Then she came up to Mission Control, you know, Michael Johnson's
Yep,
studio?
yep.
She came up from New York, and I mixed this Blind Passion. It's a great track. I mean, someday a lot of this stuff, I should talk to Rick Hart. This stuff has got to see the light of day. Light of love, light of day. But I'm glad your stuff is getting out there, and this booklet is just amazing. This is like a feast.
Yes,
Feast of Eaters.
I don't have any albums left, but the album, because they're big on retro in Europe, has a huge booklet and a poster.
There's a vinyl?
Yes, yes.
There's a vinyl companion. It's a double record?
It's a fold-out. There's not two records in it. It's just one, but it is a fold-out, and it has a very large booklet in it and a poster. And so it depends what you dig.
All right, there are 13 tracks on here, and then a 14th interview. What is the interview?
Interview is just really the eaters outside of a club fooling around talking. It doesn't last too long.
Oh.
But it's a nice piece of history.
The Lost Tapes, mono-powered oddities, and assorted hot junk from the vault, 7375.
Yeah, some of it's recorded upstairs at Cantone's where we lived on the 4th floor.
Cantone's.
So when we did gigs at Cantone's, that was pretty cool. We just loaded our gear in the elevator, came down and loaded it onto the stage. And Mario would make us spaghetti and raviolis, which is what I really love.
Teddy and Mario, and those were the days.
Yeah, boy, it really was a great club.
I'm not a drinker, but they would make an iced tea. I'm not an alcohol fan, but this iced tea was irresistible. It was sweet, it was delicious, and you would be hammered after one.
Wow, yeah.
Teddy would make it, or Cindy, his girlfriend, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember the days, and this thing, you better not be driving people when you had a Cantone's iced tea. It was just like huge. It was like this cup, right? Ice, and it was just, I don't know what was in it. But it was potent.
Explosives of some kind.
You better be in there for the night, people, because Cantone's was a great little room.
Yeah, that's the thing about that day, that era, because nowadays it's not a cool thing to do to play like a month or two within a gig that you're doing.
Right.
But in those days, the 7 or 8 clubs that were going strong, you could be at the Rat one night, then Cantone's the next night, and
Club in Cambridge.
Yeah, and the fans would show up. They just support all the clubs all the time. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So let's go back to Cape Cod. What was your first band?
Oh, wow. Rigor Mortis and the Standstills.
What year?
Oh, my God.
Okay, you don't have to.
Forget about that one. But the Webster brothers, the dad was a doctor, and we did, the songs of the day and surfing tunes.
Webster Brothers?
Yes, Webster.
And Dad was a doctor? That was the name of a band?
No. Their father was a doctor.
Oh, the Webster Brothers.
Yeah. So we had that, and I was a singer in that band. And then Al and I formed our own band after that called the Cobwebs. And we started winning the Battle of the Bands. That was a big deal then. The JCs put them on. And we just kept going strong with that, played the A-Go-Go, and opened up for a lot of the major acts that came through at that time.
The A-Go-Go, was that in Yarmouth?
Yep, it's the one that I saw the Lovelace Lads and the Animals at. And
Oh, right, you mentioned earlier. Okay, wow, so you played there.
Yep, and there's a group called The Bold that used to play there all the time, and their big thing was they did, the lead singer did Please, 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 and he'd do a backflip off the stage into the audience.
A la James Brown or...
Right, whatever it was. But he had practiced that a lot, and he executed it quite well.
Now, did you know our friends Multi and the Barbarians?
I didn't know them. I know Multi now, but then I didn't. And there were only a couple of music shops in Hyannis at the time, and I was in one. I forget the name of it. And I'm looking at the sheet music and stuff like that, and in walks the Barbarians. And they were in matching suits and everything, wicked long hair. Multi on stage would, in between songs, talk to the audience. He'd put his foot up on the bass drum, and he'd take a brush out that he had on his drums, and he'd brush his long hair and talk to the audience and stuff. And, of course, he had a childhood accident, and he put his drumsticks in a piece of apparatus he had on his hand, which was his left hand,
He used to be a guitar player.
Really?
Yeah, and because of the accident, he had to become a drummer.
Oh, well, he was a great drummer. A good guy. And
He's a frequent guest here.
Really?
On Visual. Oh,
well,
yeah.
Please give him my best.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So when did you meet him again? You met him at the music store? Or
Yeah,
did you meet
and
him?
then years later, I mean, I saw the Barbarians at the Go-Go. And,
Really?
They were a big deal. They were from
Yeah.
the Cape, and they had a hit, and Are You a Boy, Are You a Girl? And much later on, I think, maybe 6 years ago, I was playing in a band that played on Cape. We did mostly blues, called Blues Deluxe.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, Richie Bartlett from The Fools.
Oh, yeah.
Was the other guitar player. And we played all over the place. Anyways, Moldy came in one night with Mary Jo Felice. She brought him in to see us. And
John Felice's
sister.
Oh.
Yeah. And she's a great rock and roll fan.
Is she from the Cape?
Yeah, she lives on there. She's not from the Cape. She's from Boston
wow.
or Newton or
Wow.
whatever.
I didn't know she knew Multi.
Yeah, she knows just about everybody.
And they walked in to see you.
Yeah, they walked in to see us. We got to talk to him, and it was good to see him and talk to him. And that was the last time I saw him.
I could probably tell you where he is tonight. Believe it or not, people, the legendary Multi of the Barbarians is on WATD radio just about every Saturday night.
Really?
With Ed Bowen. Ed Bowen and George Denham were on the show. We lost George. George passed away a few years ago, tragically. These guys were on all the record shows. In fact, I invited Mike Girard of the Fools. I'll invite you. At the end of April, on a Sunday, there's a record show in Dedham. If you want to bring your records and hang out at the table, we have the video camera there. Multi comes in.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's in Dedham. It's the oldest record expo. It's like some ridiculous 37 years old. They used to be at the SAC 57.
What's the date?
I think it's April 20th. It's whatever Sunday is around April 20th.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
All right, please do.
But I've invited Mike Girard.
Michael should bring his book.
Yeah, well, he was on the show just a month or so ago. No, December. December he was on. Right here, talking about
Cool.
Psycho Chicken. He was sitting here, I was sitting there. So we got to reverse it for you. But yeah.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, when I was taping Ben Orr, Richie Bartlett was on guitar.
Yeah, he was. He played
John
with Ben
Calicious.
for a while, yeah.
And Vin Calicious is the sponsor of this show in Scituate. So
Wow.
thanks to the Rat and my good friend Vinny Calicious, John's brother.
Wow.
This show is on in Scituate. Hello, Vinny and everyone in Scituate. From Steve Cataldo. So, you know, Scituate's a great place for you to play.
Yep.
It's close to your home, right? It's closer than Winchester.
Yes, yes.
And Megan's was up there, right? That was a great club.
I don't know. I forget. I mean, there was the Surf Nantasket, and that's where I met Rich. Because I brought my band from the Cape up there to audition to see if we could play for the Surf, because the Surf also had a club in Hyannis. And I got signed to Surf Management, and from
Really?
there I joined the Rich and the Front Page Review. And they were a group like the Techniques and the Pilgrims, and some of the Pilgrims later became Sha-Na-Na, and the Rock and Ramrods,
Yeah.
the Campese brothers, and Jesse Henderson, who is a great engineer, and he works out at Longview Farms. And we've recorded many times out there.
Jesse's great. He did the Live at the Rat stuff with John Calicious.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
So the names come back because of our world back in the... it was quite a time. It was a different...
It was a great time. It was a great time.
And when the cars were really rocking with Just What I Needed on COZ Radio and BCN, remember there were lines around the corner
Oh, yeah. You
at
bet.
the Rat to see the cars.
Yeah. On Eat This, we have a song called 528, and it's about the days at the Rat. It's become quite popular, and we play it out live.
Meaning 528 Commonwealth Ave.
That's right.
And address
See,
was-
you're the only one who really knows that. A lot of people go, what's that have to do with the song, you know? But it was the address of the Rat.
And I don't think the address exists anymore.
No, they tore it down. You can go online and see the Rat, and then the demolition of the Rat.
So one of your residences doesn't exist anymore, 69 Broad Street.
Oh, yeah.
It's now like 71 to 73, but there's no 69.
Oh,
But
man.
I was the booking agent at Cantone's, and you were living at Cantone's. It
Right.
was 69 Broad. I've got the old Cantone sign.
Really?
They threw it out. And I'm like, how can you throw this relic out? And I put it in my van. They threw out the Cantone sign because Mario put up a new one. So in my basement, I got the Cantone sign.
Boy, that was
I should bring it here. I should have brought it today. I'm sorry.
That was great thinking on your part. I wonder what happened to the Rathskeller sign.
Well, Jimmy got, I heard Jimmy got $5 million for the whole building.
He probably did. He probably did, which is...
God bless him.
Yeah, he probably should have gotten more, but...
I think
still.
he held out for that.
Yeah.
Because there were nights you'd go to the Rat in the summer, that last year, and it would be shut down. He would just rather not put the air conditioning on. He was just holding out to be you. So it's like, I'm not letting go of this club, and it was, you're not going to put the air conditioning on, no show tonight. And it was the end, you know?
Yeah, you can't blame him. He was just a rock and roll lover. He really loved it.
I'm guessing that's what happened. I think that's what happened, but, you know, it makes sense. God bless him. He made his $5 million. I wish I did.
You bet.
He had the Strawberries building. He had Strawberries in the Rat, where there's one building at 528, which doesn't exist now. Mm. It's a subway stop. It's the Commonwealth Hotel.
Mm. Wow. Great, really quick story. He fixed up the Rat a couple of times, and the last time he did it, they put a fine coat of black on and then some new carpeting. And we're at the end of the bar, close to the back door, the exit door, and a punk band's on stage playing away. And Jimmy and I are having a beer, and I said, Jimmy, the place looks great. You did a great job. And just after I said that, one of the punks on stage turns towards us and hurls right onto Jimmy's new rug. And we just clicked our beers and said, well, christened the room. Kind of a gross story, but it was pretty funny then.
I'll give you another story. Remember Mitch?
Sure do. Love
Okay.
Mitch. Yeah.
So Nikki Jarrett, the Lasers?
Yep.
All right. Joe Perry's ex-sister-in-law. I can't let her live that down. There's a limo going by. She goes, Joe, I have a pizza, and there's a limo going by, and I throw my pizza at the limo. It stops.
Sounds like Nikki, yeah.
She goes, the door opens, a man emerges. It's Mitch. You'll never play my club again. With his voice box, and he goes back into the limo and leaves. Of course, at the end of Mitch's life, Nikki was there at his apartment. She was with him right up to the end, and I talked to him a few times on the phone. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice. Nikki, they clearly made up.
Yeah, yeah. I tried to talk him into having like a little amplifier hooked up to that, little apparatus he used. Stay well, where I am. But I said, well, we could amplify it for you, so, because of the music so loud down there, people will hear you, but he just never wanted to go for it. He was a saxophone player originally.
Jazz.
Yeah, quite a good one, yes.
I heard. Yeah. How come he never played the Rat?
I don't know. He was a humble guy.
But it would have been great to see a sax with the Nervous Eaters, if he just came out with a bitch sax, I quieted down. I got that word slipped through. Sitch and Statch. Sax. Nikki and they became friends again after the pizza incident, but you'd go down to the Rat with Nikki, and she would look at Mitch and go, Mitch, don't do that. Every time you do that, my garage door opens.
She's a really funny girl.
She's a funny girl.
Yeah.
And so, do any of the old friends show up at your gigs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody that can make it does.
Those of us still breathing, I'm sad to say, and I don't say that as a joke. I say that in all seriousness. It's kind of weird. Yeah. So far, man, we're the survivors.
Yeah, there's some page out there that has everybody that passed away. It's a couple hundred. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer page, but you can keep tabs on what's going on. Even Boston Groupie News has a rest in peace section of everybody.
Yeah, but they got me listed in it, and they got my hand coming out like I'm still, the count thing, whatever. But they.
Oh, that's funny.
Good old Miss Lynn Blow.
Joke.
I love them. I know they're great. I mean, I'm honored. It's an honor, right?
Right. Yeah. You bet.
In a twisted way. But we're reliving the days of the Rat with Steve Cataldo, one of the greatest guitarists in the history of Boston rock and roll, who played on one of the great iconic singles, Mass Ave and Kerouac. So what did you think when this friend of yours, Willie, brings you Kerouac?
Well, it was just a great song. It is a great song. I played on Mass Ave, but I laid out on Kerouac because I think he dynamically just wanted a piano and bass, really. You know, a little drumming, but not too much. It's sparse. So.
But you knew it was a great song when you heard it.
Oh yeah, you bet. All his songs were great.
So you got this Mass Ave and this Kerouac, but it was Willie breaking out because he was in the Velvet Underground, he was in the Lost, he was in an R&B band called the Bagatelle.
That's right, yeah.
On ABC Records. So here's this guy coming out with this ode to the beat poet. I mean, that was innovative.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
It was beyond innovative.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he had a lot of history, prehistory, so he was deep in rock and roll. He loved the Ronettes, and he used to carry a photo of Elvis, and he'd say, "This is beauty, man. This is real beauty." And he was right, because the early Elvis was just sensational.
Willie Loco puts on some of the most consistent shows to this day I've ever seen. Consummate performer.
Oh yeah, yeah. He has the rock and roll spirit. Another guy that was way ahead of everybody, just loved rock and roll. It was Andy Paley, and his brother Jonathan played with us for quite a while.
Really? So I know Jonathan did, but did Andy play with you at all?
Well, he came to the studio and played piano with us on the Elektra.
Oh, okay.
A record when
I should know that.
Nicky wasn't highlighted on a couple of the tunes. Andy played on the rest, and Andy knew everybody. Loved the Beach Boys. He was just really, really into rock and roll, and the Ronettes, the Shangri-Las, and he ended up getting together with all those people. He ended up getting together with Brian Wilson, and he's a producer for Sire.
And he was in the Modern Lovers.
He could have been in there for a little
yeah,
while.
I saw them at the Stone Phoenix Coffee House, which is like Jack's drum shop, downstairs, like way downstairs. Andy Paley was like on drums or something.
Yes, he's a drummer. He plays lots of different instruments. He was the lead singer for the Sidewinders.
Great band with a song called Rendezvous. Great song.
Yeah, yeah.
They were on RCA.
Yeah, yeah.
They had an album on RCA, the Sidewinders. But they were better live.
Yeah, they were great live. They had a lot of really cool songs, and the lineup was great.
Did the Nervous Eaters play with the Sidewinders in gigs?
No, but we saw them at Sandy's, and that's how we struck up a relationship with Andy. And they met Jonathan. He was in a group called Mung in New York, because they had a residence down there in the city. They actually lived in upstate New York.
The Paley Brothers.
Yes. Yep.
They had one album out on Sire, and an EP, if I recall.
Right. It was they had a lot of great songs on that too. We went on tour as their backup band.
Oh, so you toured with the Flamin' Groovies at the Paradise?
Yeah, we did that show, and we played.
I have a cassette around the house somewhere. I taped
Madison Square Garden, the Toronto Blue Jays Stadium. We did the World's Fair in British Vancouver, Columbia, and so we had a lot of fun.
Wow. I didn't realize it was the Nervous Eaters behind the Paley Brothers.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was a natural thing for Jonathan to join the band.
Absolutely, yeah. He was already in the band at that time, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Jonathan was in the Nervous Eaters, but you guys were on Sire Records as the Paley Brothers.
Yeah, we didn't do the record with him, unfortunately. Eric Rose did, and Jeff Lass, who plays piano on a lot of the WGBH stuff.
Eric is another phenomenal guitar player.
He is really outstanding.
Do you know where he is these days?
He's in, I think, New York, Boston. He still makes that.
Oh, Eric's around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the Paley Brothers or the Sidewinders might have had a reunion, and Eric Rose showed up at the Rat. Just foggy thing. It's hard all these years later, Steve. You know,
right.
All the gigs you played, and I saw so many of them. But your band was so intense. Your guitar sound was so intense, and I wish you made that record with Lou Reed.
Yeah, me too. Oh well.
Or toured with him. So let me get this in chronology here. This record comes out. We've got another 5 minutes. Get Stuffed, and these are down at the Rat. How did the Rick Ocasek sessions come about? Maxanne and Rick?
Because we played with the Cars so many times at the Rat, and they hadn't gotten signed yet, and they went to England to make their first record. And we became just good friends with everybody. And Rick had me over to his house a couple of times, and we decided we would do a demo, and things took off from there. So that's how that happened.
Wow. And you went in and cut these songs up at Northern. Mm-hmm. And is it some of the songs that are on here, Loretta?
No, none of the Rick sessions are on that.
Wow, so these were all...
Loretta is from the Rat record.
No, but what I'm saying, did you redo Loretta with him, or did you...
Yes, we did. We did. There was a demo version of that because Elektra wasn't familiar with the Rat songs at all. So.
Oh, so...
So we had some of our hardcore stuff, and then some lighter tunes, and so I think they saw the pop songs. They could understand those. I don't think they could really understand the wild stuff.
Now, did you ever play the Hotel Bradford?
Oh yeah.
You had?
Yeah, bunch of times. Yeah.
With the Eaters?
In fact, we played the night John Lennon was assassinated.
Oh, December 8th, 1980.
Yeah, and
sorry.
Yeah, and Mark Parento was introducing everybody that night, and he got a blast on the telephone, and he didn't know whether it was Richard Nixon or John Lennon, so we didn't know what to say to the audience. Later on, when we found out it was John Lennon, we were devastated, because I'm a big Lennon
you know,
Beatles
who isn't,
fan.
you know? Yeah. Wow, so you played the Bradford a number of times, so now the Royale is April 16th, and
Yes.
what time do you go on?
We go on, it's a very early show. We go on at 8:30. The whole total gig is from like 6 to 9:30. Robin goes on first, the Liars go on second, then we go on last. And then they kind of clear everybody out, and it's a high-class disco till the early hours.
What the Paradise used to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that in New York too, same thing, where they have a rock show and then kick everybody out.
And the
into a
two
disco.
audiences don't mingle.
No, they don't. It's totally separate. Yeah. But somehow they pack them in there for the rock shows, and then another gigantic crowd comes in for the disco.
I saw Buddy Guy there. It was jammed. It's like 1,500 people it can hold. And so is it renovated? Like, do they have a different stage from the old days?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's probably, the stage is probably in the same area, but the whole place has been totally redone in gold and blue crystal, and it's really elegant if you're into that type of thing.
Will you be videotaping the gig?
I don't know what the deal is there. I think because they do tons of rock shows, and probably a lot of the groups that show up have their own individual audiences. So I don't know really what they're set up for, but I'll know the 16th.
The Nervous Eaters is the band. The guitar player, songwriter, singer, Steve Cataldo, a journeyman Boston artist. Great talking about Willie with you. We got to have you back here when you're up here with Willie.
Sure,
That'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be great.
Your band is invited to come into WinCam and record here. Fox passed it an hour.
Really?
So if you want some footage of yourself and let us air it, come on in and rock out.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I would do it.
It's a cool facility.
Yeah.
If I got a Fox Pass in the car, you can have it.
Cool.
So you can see, this is a great place, WinCam, and I'm so glad you made the journey up. The Royale, Bradford Hotel, the Wang Center, April 16th, which is only like a month away. Today is the 19th. Yeah, so it's a month from tonight, Saturday?
Yeah, yep. And
Saturday
June
night.
23rd, we're at the Paradise
June 23rd.
with the Del Fuegos.
Oh, wow, June 23rd at the Paradise with the Del Fuegos. Yep. You should call WATD in Marshfield tonight and just say, hey, Multi will be there,
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, and come to the record show. I'm going to email you, the Randolph
please,
Music
I'd love
Show.
to do that. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's fun. Thank you so much for all this stuff. Delusional. You have written an album title. Is there a track called Delusional?
No, it's just the name of the record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went over that.
Charlene, like before, Faye Told Sally. Faye Told Sally what?
It's a pretty cool song. Great bass line. Alpo plays on
bass.
it. Yeah,
Alpo from the Real Kids.
plays on 3 songs.
I was on a booze cruise with Alpo. Last time I think I saw him.
Yeah, a lot of great stories with Alpo.
Yeah,
He's a character.
he used to live over there at the Cantons, right?
Yeah. He was in the Eaters for a while.
Oh, he was?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a picture of Alpo, Jonathan Paley, and myself and Jeff upstairs at Bun Ratty's, and that's a pretty cool photo.
Bun Ratty's and the Eaters. I mean, man, it was a different time, Steve.
So many clubs you could play, and everybody just went from club to club with you.
And
really good time.
And you rocked out well, and you're going to rock out again this next month.
That's right.
Thanks for being on Visual Radio, Steve Cataldo. It's an honor having you here. I need an autograph, and then we'll let you go.
Thank you,
on
John.
to your Saturday.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's our show for tonight. Thanks, Joe LaRocca. Thank you, WinCam.
Thanks, everybody.